the latest news around the Denver Broncos is around Juwan James. And this one breaks my heart a little bit, not only because you never want to see a player go down with an injury, but a torn Achilles to me just is absolutely heartbreaking. So he did it at a workout on Tuesday. The injury was not at a Broncos facility, so Denver could get out of paying his salary, which is, again, pretty upsetting. James decided to opt out of the 2020 season, which if he didn't do that, right? So basically, I'm going to try to walk you guys through this. The fact that he decided to opt out last year and the fact that he got hurt this year, he could be out like $20 million. Like it's a lot of money, and he's a good right tackle for Denver. I think they're doing a lot of the right things, especially, I like their draft that they had. I liked what they did in free agency. And sure, you have Teddy Bridgewater. You have Drew Lock. You have a little bit of a quarterback battle, if you will. But not having one of your more reliable right tackles, I do think that's going to hurt you a little bit. So here, as it stands right now, is the Broncos 2021 offensive line depth chart. Garrett Bowles, who decided to finally show up and be worth the pick. He's at left tackle. You got Dalton Reisner, who I like, from Kansas State. Cushenberry, Glasgow, and then now you got to rely on Calvin Anderson. I mean, personally, that's not the route I would go. If you could go out and find another player, maybe in free agency, that's the way to do it. However, when I saw a report was like, well, maybe he might actually be able to play. That would absolutely just blow my mind. If this man blew out his Achilles, which, like, let's be real, that injury is like a 12 to 18-month injury at times, and for a man that big, you're probably looking definitely over a year. If he is able to find a way to go out and play, that is absolutely just amazing to me. So will he end up playing this season? I want you to go down in the comments section and type Y for yes, type N for no. I don't want to say like that I hope he does play because I want him to rest. I want him to actually be healthy when he goes out there. But there's a part of this is like, man, yeah, if this guy can go out there, I think he's the ultimate Superman. So if Juwan James is unable to rock and roll for this upcoming season, who are some players that the Denver Broncos could potentially go out and find on the free agent market? One of the names that I want everyone to keep in mind, and when I was actually making this show, I had this name in my list before the report even came out. It's offensive tackle Dennis Kelly. The report is this: he will visit the Broncos next week. He has started at right tackle for the Titans, and this would be a logical stopgap option for Denver. When you want to be able to find somebody that can just come in right away and be a solid fit for what you're going to be able to try to do on offense, that's what Dennis Kelly is to me. 6'8", 321 pounds. I mean, that's a big old boy there. 31 years old, has plenty of time working on the offensive line, would be able to, I think, slide in really easily with what Denver tries to do. Last season, 16 games played, 0 sacks allowed. I'm not saying the Denver offense is exactly what Tennessee does because they like to run the football a little bit more, but Tennessee is more of a run-first team. And there's still a part of me that thinks that Denver wants to be a run-first team as well. The next offensive lineman I'm going to bring up here is Bobby Massie. The report, Massie's also going to visit Denver next week. If I was a betting man, I'd say it's between Massie and I'd say it's between Kelly. It's going to be one of those two guys that ends up getting the starting right tackle position if, in fact, Juwan James is out for the entire season. You got a 9-year veteran who's, again, shown pretty versatile ability. He's shown his ability to also be a reliable option. Last year, though, in 8 games, 3 sacks allowed. Also, the way that I have these guys ranked in terms of how I would personally rank them if I was the Denver Broncos. So, like, if Kelly's not an option, then you go ahead and give a guy like Massie a call. Then you go and turn your attention to Mitchell Schwartz. And if Mitchell Schwartz was 100% healthy, shit, I'd probably put him number 1. If he was also 100% healthy, I think he'd still be on the Kansas City Chiefs because he's a really good right tackle. But when you talk about a player who last 5 years in Kansas City dealing with a back injury, anytime I hear back injury, it just scares the hell out of me because this might be hard to believe. Backs are important. And when you miss most of the 2020 season, I believe he played in only 6 games, there's already reports out there. They're like, I don't know if he's going to be healthy. I don't know if he's going to be able to play. I'm hoping that he is going to be able to rock and roll, but when you have a player that's as talented as Schwartz and you're at this point in free agency, literally after the draft, and he's still out there, that means teams are scared. And I don't blame them. 31 years old and a back injury. That, to me, is something that should really, really frighten quite a lot of people. But give me a name here. Who should the Denver Broncos go out and sign to play right tackle? This is a tough division. You got the Chiefs doing all the right things. The Chargers are on the up and up. You know the Raiders are going to be somewhere around 500 as well. But if you're Denver, you made a lot of moves this offseason. You had another solid draft. And, I mean, if you want to go out and get a guy like Aaron Rodgers as well, you better go out and have a right tackle. So who should Denver sign to play right tackle? Next story coming up here is around Aaron Rodgers potentially going to Denver. I don't need to sit here and tell you this, right? Unless you live underneath a rock, there is just all sorts of drama going on around AR-12. But the trade rumors are growing, and they are growing rapidly around Rodgers potentially ending up in Denver. So Rodgers would be open to a trade to the Broncos, which is by far probably the most important thing that we're sitting here talking about. And no disrespect to Teddy B, who I like, who we'll talk about here in a little bit. And no disrespect to Drew Lock. Like, let's be real, y'all. If you put Aaron Rodgers on this Denver Broncos team with that defense, with that offense, that is one of the most deadly teams. That makes the AFC West special, and that puts them instantly as a Super Bowl contender. Major shout out to Newsbreak. If you guys haven't heard about them yet, then hey, listen up right now. Who out there likes to stay up to date what's going on in their city? Who out there likes to stay up to date what's going on with the weather? I mean, if you're looking for the latest on politics, food, pop culture, I would imagine you like sports. You're here. And if you want more sports content, go ahead, download the Newsbreak app. Wow, where am I from? Chatsports.com/Newsbreak is the link. It's also in the comments. It's also in the description. But I don't care what your city is. Like, I don't care if you live in Dallas, Texas. I don't care if you live in Minnesota or Las Vegas, Oakland. It does not matter. Head on over to chatsports.com/Newsbreak. Download the app where you can get sports content, politics, and actually even more videos from us. So when you go ahead and download the Newsbreak app, I want you to search for your favorite NFL team. So if you're a Cowboys fan, search Cowboys, then click follow Cowboys report. If you're a Raiders fan, click on search Raiders, follow Raiders report. Bears now. Like, if you know that we have a channel here, go ahead, download the app, and then give us a follow. Chatsports.com/Newsbreak. Let's look at Aaron Rodgers' 2021 team mods, because I want to give a special shout out to Sam, who put this right on the show. Like, I didn't know that this was going to be up here, but plus 175. Like, the Packers at plus 125, Broncos at plus 175 for Rodgers' team mods. Like, you can't see Sam right now, but he looks like a little kid who just had a whole bunch of cotton candy. That's how excited he is. And I don't blame him, because if you can get a guy like Rodgers, like, we already saw what Elway can do. We already saw what the Broncos did when they went out and got Peyton Manning. Sure, the Super Bowl they won was with a washed-up Manning, and they had a great defense, but you already had the blueprint where you bring in a veteran quarterback and win a Super Bowl. Why not try to do it again? And Rodgers, 4,299 yards, MVP, yeah, you're going to be interested. But you know what's crazy, and I love this time of the year, and you know, the first few months of the year, it was like Russell Wilson, trade rumors carried, the offseason. Then it was Deshaun Watson, this and that. Now it's Aaron Rodgers. And ESPN, they put out this trade idea, and this is fun to me. The Broncos receive Rodgers and cornerback Eric Stokes. He was a rookie out of Georgia. The Packers receive Patrick Surtain, who Denver drafted number 9 overall. Tim Patrick, Tim Patrick, for whatever reason, always gets featured in trades, and I think it's funny because it's like, no respect to Tim Patrick, but come on. Drew Lock, quarterback, and then 2 first-round picks in 2022 and 2023. So who ends up winning this trade here? If you think it's the Denver Broncos, I want you to type B for Broncos. If you think it's P for the Green Bay Packers, I want you to go down in the comments and type P for Packers. And now, I'm not trying to rip on whoever made this trade idea, but can we just be real here? This is the Denver Broncos. It's not even close. You are getting Eric Stokes. You're getting Aaron Rodgers. For Drew Lock, Surtain, sure, you're getting 2 first-round picks, but I mean, come on, man. This is an easy B. Plus, you get it for $22 million in 2021. Now, sure, he might ask for a new contract. He might ask for a little bit of money. But if all I got to do is give up that trade value you just said, every NFL team, hell, my mother would pick up the phone right now, and she'd give that a call. Because that's that good of a deal. Like, come on. If we're going to put out a trade, let's be at least a little bit more creative and give something that's actually a tough decision. That's an easy trade that the Denver Broncos should make. Speaking of quarterbacks in Denver, Teddy Bridgewater, we got the latest on him. We got a nice little contract update. So remember, Denver, they traded a 6th-round pick for Teddy Two Gloves, and And when you talk about the restructure of his deal, he's now going to have $4.5 million cap hit in 2021. The Panthers, they will repay the remainder of his deal, which when I saw Carolina sign him to that 3-year, $63 million deal, I was excited. Wasn't nearly as excited as Tom. Hell, luckily for us, you can't see the bottom half of our show here because if you could, we'd probably be canceled. That's how excited Tom was. But 6'2", 215 pounds, 28 years old, out of Louisville, I like Teddy B, and he's a good bridge quarterback. But there's a part of me that's like, is Bridgewater and Drew Lock kind of the same dude? Where Bridgewater to me is a lot safer, and realistically, if Drew Lock would play more the way that Teddy did, he probably would obviously limit his turnovers a little bit. But I mean, you have a chance to get Aaron Rodgers. So if you're a Broncos fan right now and you're not subscribed to the channel, dude, I don't know what you're doing, because if you're not looking for Rodgers in a Broncos jersey, you really got to check your pulse, man. Hit that big red button that says subscribe. Go check out the Broncos channel, youtube.com/BroncosTV.